Recently, thanks to the ESPN documentary about Michael Jordan called The Last Dance, many of his and his teammates' cards have gone up significantly in value. In fact, some cards have doubled, tripled, or even quadrupled in price in just the last couple of weeks. Now, ESPN just in the last week announced another documentary, this one talking about the 1998 home run chase between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. And since then, we've seen their cards on a similar trajectory. Sammy Sosa cards have quadrupled in price, and Mark McGwire cards have done pretty much the same thing, but in some cases going up as much as 5 times or 6 times. So the cards that specifically have seen a lot of rise are the 1987 Mark McGwire PSA 10 in tops and the 1990 Leaf Sammy Sosa rookie in PSA 10. So today we're going to be looking at a different card. The pit actually does not carry the 1987 Topps card, since it's not considered a true rookie card, even though many people do consider it a rookie card. So instead, we'll be taking a look at the 1985 Topps USA rookie card for Mark McGwire, his only true rookie card, even though there are many other cards that are considered rookie cards for McGwire as well. So Big Mac, of course, the one who won the 98 home run chase, he was able to beat McGwire, hitting well over 60 home runs. So McGwire's 85 card has actually seen a pretty significant rise as well. So just a year ago, you could get this card for about $50. And in fact, even at the end of January of 2020, you could get this card for about $55. And even middle of April, you could get this card for $59. This is the PSA 9. The PSA 10 is actually quite rare, as we'll look at in a minute. But on the 12th of May, this card sold for $245. And we're now consistently seeing listings in the $300 to $325 range on eBay. So there's one listed right now at the pit for $320. So that is an absolutely unbelievable jump. So from about $60 to $250 and now up to $300. So we've seen a 5 times rise in the price of Mark McGwire's 85 rookie. So this is actually a much rarer card than the 87 Topps, which is why we're looking at it here instead. So this card has only 301 PSA 10s. That's why this card is so difficult to find in a 10. There just simply aren't very many of them. Out of 45,000 total graded, there are only 6,029 nines. So this card isn't exactly the easiest to find in a 9 either. About 1 out of 7 to 1 out of 8 of these grade in a 9. So essentially, if you got together 7 copies of this card that looked pretty good to send in for grading, you could only realistically expect one of them to come back as a 9. And what's interesting, though, about this particular jump in price is that not only has it affected the PSA 10s and the PSA 9s, but we've also seen these price spikes affecting PSA 8 cards as well. So PSA 8 considered near mint, essentially the equivalent of a raw card that you could expect to pull out of a pack. So these PSA 8s have also jumped dramatically in price, as you can see on just May 6th, right before the announcement or around the announcement of the new 1998 documentary. There is a number of sales for this card around $16 and then for $20. But then, just not even a week later, this card was then selling for $75 and $79. This card now is asking a price of $110 on the pit. So pretty staggering. I mean, it's very unusual that you'll see a PSA 8 jump 5 times or even 6 times like this card has. So it's actually pretty amazing how far this card has gone. Of course, it is McGwire's true rookie card, so that is part of it. But this phenomenon is not limited to McGwire. Of course, it's also been affecting the rookie cards of Sammy Sosa. So we've actually talked about a few Sammy Sosa cards recently on the pit. This is the one that we hadn't really said much about. in the past week, since it's only been the past week that this particular card has gone up significantly in value. So, Sammy Sosa cards have been building up momentum for a while, but the Leaf is considered sort of his premier rookie card. It's not his only rookie card. He actually has quite a few rookie cards that we've looked at a few in the past. But this card is notable in particular because it quadrupled in a PSA 10, and the pit does actually have quite a few of these available in PSA 10. We'll take a look at the report, the population report. So out of about 26,000, there's actually only 1,694 10s. So this is actually a pretty difficult 10 to acquire. So, even if you were to round that to say 2,000 and 26,000, you're looking at maybe a 1 in 12 to closer to 1 in 13 chance of getting this in a 10, which is pretty staggering, pretty mind-boggling. This is also the same set as the Frank Thomas rookie card. And then if you're looking for a 9, there's over 15,000 9s compared to over 25,000 10s. So if you were to send and say 10 of these, you have a very, very strong chance of getting a number of 9s. So we'll get into the 9s in a moment. So just like with with the McGwire cards, these cards have certainly seen a massive rise as well. Not quite as dramatic as McGwire's, but as we said in the beginning, these cards have seen a four times increase in price. So you see on just May 1st, this exact card sold for $50. Two of them sold for $50. And then just 5 days later, there were two more copies that sold for $70. So the card went up significantly in just a very short period of time, about 50%. And then on May 7th, there were sales for 144. So this card has just seen an absolute jump. So that was about a 3 times uh, increase, and now you're seeing this card listed for $141 on the pit. So, and the pit actually does have a number of these in stock, so about 17 holdings past the one that's listed. So this is definitely a card that has seen an unbelievable rise in its prices. And just like with McGwire's cards, Sammy Sosa's PSA 9s of this card have also seen a huge jump in market value. So this card right here, as you can see, the last trade that the pit had was actually for $15. Take a look at the sales history. But you can see that 5 are now listed for $42. So again, just the same sort of momentum that we're seeing on the PSA 10s. Not quite as huge, but as you can see, even in late February, this card was selling for about $8. Someone sold some in mid March for $5.50. This card was even early May. This card was $7 to $8, $9. But then after the documentary was announced, a whole bunch of these sold for $15. So and now that card is asking a $42 price. So if you were able to get a bunch of these graded, and they all came back 9s, you're still making a significant return on investment. So basically, right now, what I would say is that if you do have any of these cards laying around and you think that they have a strong chance at a PSA 9 or PSA 10, PSA is open again. So you can actually send these in for grading once again. I would definitely recommend, if you have any that you think can grade a PSA 9 or a 10, you definitely want to consider sending them in, because even a PSA 9 is considered valuable. We haven't looked at the BGS, the Beckett versions yet, but but this effect has definitely trickled down to other cards, as we've seen the 87 tops effect did affect the 85 tops McGwire, and it does appear that the Sammy Sosa cards, such as the tops Tiffany, have also seen a similar rise in price. Maybe not quite to the 4 times, but very close to like 3 times. So if you're looking to get into Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire cards, this would be the time to do so, because the actual documentary does not actually air until, I believe it was June 16th. So there's still a month before this documentary actually comes out on the air. And of course, we have seen that even after the initial jump in prices with the announcement of the Last Dance documentary, as the documentary has gone on, card prices have continued to soar, especially for Michael Jordan. and his teammates. So I think there is a very strong chance that we'll be seeing not only Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire cards raise in value, but potentially some other players that are prominently mentioned in that documentary. I'm sure that Ken Griffey Jr. will come up as well. He, of course, hit quite a few home runs that year as well. So I would definitely not be surprised if this effect carries over to all of the rookie cards of the major stars during that time. Of course, Sosa and McGwire aren't even Hall of Famers, so um, I'm definitely considering there to be a carryover effect to other Hall of Famers at the time as well. So definitely look forward to that. If you're looking to get into, these late 80s, early 90s rookie cards, you definitely want to get into them as soon as possible, because I think that there's going to be a huge jump on all of these cards very soon, especially if baseball resumes within the next couple of months. I think that we're going to start seeing across the board a very similar rise that we saw in basketball. So stay tuned for more micro reports. I'm sure we'll be doing a lot more of these on rookie cards from this era as we get closer to that documentary and the hype building up around it. So take care, everybody, and happy collecting.